So the latest chapter of Jujutsu Kaisen is finally out, and it is a banger because we are able to get the fight between Yuki and Kenjaku, and we are able to see Kenjaku's curse technique, which is actually gravity, which we all kind of suspected, especially after he showcased it during his fight against Chozo. But the best part about this chapter is that Yuki activated her curse technique, and she is incredibly strong to the point where Kenjaku is thinking twice of fighting her. But we all know that Kenjaku, he has things up his sleeves because we know that this fight is not going to be one-sided. And all of this is going down in the latest chapter of Jujutsu Kaisen, where we started off after we see that Chozo, he is done with this fight. So Yuki goes ahead and teleport him into a safe place so that way he can go ahead and recover because he already did his job. As we saw that Yuki was analyzing the fight with Chozo and Kenjaku, and she saw that Kenjaku was able to summon this weird technique that is not curse manipulation, which we later found out in this chapter that is actually gravity. So of course, during this battle, Yuki, she goes ahead and she starts to summon her Shimigami, or this thing that always follows her. So Kenjaku did not waste any time as he summoned that giant elephant that is able to manipulate gravity, as we saw him in the past couple of chapters because he was over there at the White House as he lifted up the army people as they were going to confront this cursed spirit. So at this time, Yuki, she's just like, I ain't wasting any time. So her Shimigami snake thing actually formed into a ball, and Yuki summoned her World Cup Fury and actually kicked the ball, destroying this Shimigami person. And at this moment, Kenjaku's face just looked like, oh shit! So Kenjaku, he realized that he's not facing no ordinary sorcerer, he is facing the sorcerer, because as Yuki, she goes on ahead and she's not even finished just with that one attack. She goes straight charging towards Kenjaku, and you can see the muscles in her arms is forming up and popping out because of her curse technique, which is called Wrath of the Stars. And she goes on ahead and she punched Kenjaku, knocking him all the way through the barrier, breaking some of it, and actually was able to break his arm because Kenjaku was trying to block the arm and his arm actually came off. And at this moment, Kenjaku realized, like, yeah, this is a tough opponent. But we are later find out that her curse technique is Wrath of the Stars, where she is able to manipulate the mass of herself or her Shimigami tool. And we already know that her Shimigami can use as a curse tools and stuff like that. So we can tell that Yuki is just a different breed. And on top of that, you could also tell that she is the one who actually trained Todo, because just how her fighting style is, and she just really loves to get her hands dirty because she's the type of person that likes to do hand-to-hand combat and everything else. So at this moment, Kenjaku is using reverse curse technique to actually heal his arm so that way he can reattach itself. And then later on, it's later confirmed that Kenjaku used a gravity curse technique to actually avoid Chozo's supernova technique. So at this current time, this is a standstill because Kenjaku and Yuki are just staring at each other as the battle goes ahead and slowly continues. So before one of them even make a first move, Yuki, she is thinking that Kenjaku probably have a third curse technique or multiple curse techniques, because during the whole entire time where they were fighting, she realized that Kenjaku, not only that he has gravity magic and curse manipulation, but this man is probably hiding other curse techniques that he is not showcasing. But at the same time, Kenjaku, he is looking at Yuki, and she says based on her strength alone, she seems to be very troublesome. And so both of them, they're both judging at each other because they both realize, like, yeah, this is going to be a problem. So like Kenjaku's looking at Yuki saying that you're going to be a problem, and Yuki is doing the same thing to Kenjaku as she's saying that you're going to be a problem because you have multiple curse techniques. So it just seems like both of them are in the same page as like, we need to eliminate you. So it seems like that's how they're just staring at each other. So while both of them are still looking at each other as they realize that they're such a pain, Yuki goes ahead and she says, according to my plan, I will get Kenjaku to expand his domain. Next, I will back him into a corner once the after effects of domain expansion takes up hold, and he will enter in a state of which it will be hard for him to use his curse technique. Even if I'm in the same state, I still have my curse technique to actually win. To get this plan to work, I will have to chip away at Kenjaku, reducing the intensity of the domain as much as possible. But Kenjaku's like, no, no, no. Our curse techniques aren't suited to fight for each other, but you still hasn't expanded a domain. You're particularly confusing that you don't have faith in your ability to win a domain ability. So Kenjaku is preparing to use his domain expansion as he's forming his hands to the stance. And then he says domain expansion, all enveloping grab attitude as the domain suddenly summons up from the ground. But Yuki goes ahead and she says to Tegan, hey Tegan, now it's time, as Tegan is doing his own stance of his domain, and it seems like Yuki's plan is actually going to take effect of Kenjaku, and Kenjaku is just looking surprised like, wait, what? And so the chapter ends as it seems like Master Tegan is going to try to like seal Kenjaku or try to counter his domain, so that way Yuki plan can actually go ahead and try to finish off Kenjaku. But other than that, this is just a crazy chapter, a actually fantastic chapter, because we're able to know that Kenjaku is able to do multiple curse techniques, not just only curse manipulation or gravity. He also knows other techniques as well, but also Yuki's curse ability, because how she's able to turn mass, so which means that she's able to pretty much increase her strength or the strength of an object without like changing her body. So instead of her just becoming like massive, like big, like pretty much growing like 12 feet tall and like have the power of the strength of like the Incredible Hulk, because based on like, you know, the Hulk is like big, she is able to maintain her size, but able enough to increase her strength full-heartedly. So this is just a very, very interesting thing. And not only that too, but she's the only one that's able enough to do this curse ability. So all of this is very interesting and an interesting concept. So let me know down in the comment section how you guys feel about this chapter and what's your guys' favorite moment. If you guys do like the video, please give it a like, subscribe, and remember, always be decent. This is the Monotone Man, and hope you guys have a wonderful day and be safe out here. Peace.